Do you want to invest like the wealthy? In that case, you need to know about alternative investments. You're probably thinking, what's an alternative investment? The short answer is it's anything other than a stock or a bond. Simple, right? So what falls into that category and why should you consider that? I'll start off with the second question first, and why you should consider alternative investments. In today's low interest rate environment, we have stocks at all-time highs and interest rates beginning to rise again. So that means that bonds probably won't do that well over the next 5 to 10 years. And stocks, they're pretty highly valued, so we're not sure how that's going to work out either. So what you're looking for is alternative investments that have uncorrelated returns to stocks and bonds. That's where these asset classes come in. And so you're looking at these asset classes, at these investments, as ways to get return without taking market risk or without taking the risk of the stock market. So you can do that in a couple of different ways. There are a lot of different investments that fall under this. I'm going to talk about 3 major areas today, but there are way more. I mean, honestly, there's an infinite number of investments out there that fall under alternate investments. So first up, hedge funds. Everyone's heard of it. No one can really define it because at the end of the day, it's a legal structure and it doesn't mean a lot. So hedge fund, it can be something like a long short fund. That means they're saying, hey, we like these 20 stocks. We don't like these other 10 stocks. We're going to buy the stocks we like and we're going to sell short or short the stocks we don't like. So we're hopefully going to make even more with less risk. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You can have a macro fund. And that's saying, you know what, we're looking at the overall market and we think that based on what the macroeconomic trends are, this is where the market's going to go. We're going to try to do better based on those trends. Finally, you can have an event-driven fund. Some people will call these a black swan fund. And that's saying we're going to bet that, kind of like insurance in a way, we're going to make bets with really long options. And we're going to protect you against a huge downturn in the market. So do they work? Again, sometimes yes, sometimes no. It's hard to really pick and choose which ones are great from those options. Next up is managed futures. Managed futures had a great run during 2008, 2009, during the Great Recession. Essentially, they're managing futures, which are options contracts on indexes. So again, it's just an alternate way to get access to the index and try to manage your risk as well. Finally, private equity. Private equity is a really hot area of investment these days, and it covers a lot of different things. You can have private equity funds that are in leveraged buyouts. So they're, for instance, going in, buying middle market companies, packaging them up, and then selling them off. You can have venture capital funds. Venture capital is a form of private equity because you're taking investor funds, you're going in, purchasing a piece of a business, and you're hoping that business is going to grow multiple times over during the next 5 to 10 years that you hold that investment. Or you can have just plain old debt where you're buying mezzanine debt of a company, and whether it's bought at a distressed debt sale, a lot of different options there. But like I said, these are 3 different options. Structured products also fall into alternative investments. Real estate, if you have REITs, those are also an alternate investment. But at the end of the day, they come back to one thing, and that is trying to increase your yield while lowering your risk. In a low interest rate environment, alternative investments can be a great place to look at for that, depending on your situation. If you have any questions, give me a call. If you want to talk about alternative investments and how they might fit into your portfolio, give me a call. Jeb Gerald, Jeb at plentifulwealth.com. Thanks.